All right, let's move on to module 7, landing. Module 7, landing, coming down from your experience. This is transitioning into a bit of the integration space. It's a little diffuse in that it's really hard to like demarcate the beginning of your, I mean, you can tell when the medicine's coming on, but it kind of softens off. So I think we can begin integrating even as we're starting to land. What you'll notice is that you'll feel less of the effect of the medicine. You'll start feeling a little bit more normal, or you'll feel a little more conversant or a little more capable of functioning in your space. These are all hallmarks that the medicine is coming back to, you're coming back to baseline. So as we're landing, let's make it a really soft landing. Let's make it gentle and peaceful. We talked at the beginning about preparing your space. You've already created yourself some nice nourishing soup or something. You've made a fresh bed for yourself. Perhaps you have a plan to take a bath or just have a peaceful evening. So as the medicine's wearing off, know that nourishment and grounding foods is a really helpful thing to help you kind of get back in your body, to get out of this expansive place and come back here. You might not be terribly hungry, but it is important to give yourself a little bit of something. Now, not everyone is hungry and not everyone wants to eat something, but in my experience and from people that I've worked with or talked to, if you don't eat something and you perhaps fasted prior to your experience, you may really have a blood sugar crash and feel pretty cruddy later. Some people get headaches and things like that because they haven't eaten something. So make sure that you have something to eat and you're staying hydrated. This is a really sweet time to journal. You are going to be in this space usually with the 24 hours after. I like to think of it as kind of the immediate postpartum period. No one's asking a brand new mom to get up and clean the house and do laundry and make dinner. Allow yourself to have that sense of rest. You don't need to do the big gardening project or whatever. You get to putter around and be in your cozies. You may not sleep that night. It depends on what you take and how your mind is activated. So be prepared for that. And that's okay. If you don't sleep well, it's okay. That's part of being in this non-ordinary state. Remember, many cultures that have integrations, rites of passage or initiation ceremonies are often overnight, are often disruptive of your standard sleep pattern. And that's okay. That's why it's so important to give yourself the gift of the next day being really soft and open and no responsibilities. So I like to encourage you not to try to make super strong meaning of your experience that night or even really into the next morning. Our culture is very much attached to making things into linear time and linear understanding. And if you can allow yourself that soft, open, liminal space that's kind of like a dream, it's going to percolate into a form that feels really rich for you. If you can just let it be. Don't get on the phone with your best friend and be like, oh my God, girl, try to give yourself some time. When you get up in the morning, if you can keep it really quiet and peaceful, I like to encourage journaling in the morning where you can be a little more focused about what you recall. I was taught something by a dear friend who encouraged me to reflect after a journey with 10 minutes of free writing with a sentence starting, I remember, and just writing for 10 minutes, I remember, blah, 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 blah. And when you get stuck, you write a new sentence that says, I remember, blah, 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 blah. So this is a really sweet time to harvest some of those treasures that you went diving for in your experience. There are some supplements that could be helpful to your journey. It depends on the medicine that you're working with. People often like adding magnesium around these journey times. Also, 5-HTP can be appropriate for some of these things. I will share some resources at the end that might be helpful for you in determining those. But anything that's really neuroprotective, some people like a product I use called Theracumin. It's a curcumin supplement that's anti-inflammatory, which I really like. If you're having a just brutal headache or something like that, ibuprofen, Tylenol, those things are okay. Just don't go crazy with them, of course. Um, and it's time to really dial in your self-care. So what do you need? Do you need a quiet, easy stroll through the woods? Do you need a simple yin yoga practice? Do you need some body work? Is there a massage, someone that can massage you? Do you require a little bit of acupuncture or other kinds of supportive physical therapies? Maybe you need to go to a float tank and just relax and absorb that magnesium for a while. So, nourishing foods, giving yourself the spaciousness to just come back from your journey, knowing you've taken care of yourself ahead of time so you're ready to go. And that will be really sweet. That'll be a really sweet, soft landing in the right after day or two post.